This is the Living Legend Library, visiting with Mrs. Gussie Johnson. She is presently occupying a bed in the rest home in Perry, Oklahoma, and we have come to her bedside to get some reminiscences for the Living Legend Library of the Oklahoma Christian College. Christian College, Memorial Road at Eastern Avenue in Oklahoma City. We're engaged in the collection and preservation of Oklahoma history by voice. We have in the home of Mr. Colvin of Pawnee, a pioneer drummer. Mrs. Johnson, I will start out by asking you how long you have lived in Perry.
How long since in Perry? Since 1919.
1919?
Yes.
And where did you come from here?
From Arkansas City.
Arkansas City.
Yes.
And your family came from Arkansas City?
No, my family didn't. I come there during the World War I. And I met Frank Johnson, and he brought me here. I married him, and she knew him.
What year?
Huh?
What year were you married?
1919.
1913.
1919.
1919. And then you came to Perry to live.
And I came to Perry, yes, to live.
Well, now, can you give me some reminiscences about Perry and its characteristics? And it's been quite a town, a historic village in Oklahoma.
Yes. I say there's characteristics to it. She can tell you as many as I can, I guess, or nearly. Maybe not the one episode, but right along mixed in between. But when I come here, John Hanley, he had a ranch out. You remember the Hanley Ranch?
Yes.
Out, we say 3 miles from Perry, east. And that was a big ranch and many cattle. And his wife rode the range, Ethel, right along with Mr. Hanley. And he'd come into Perry and shoot up to sell off everything that I have, because I'm not able to take care of it personally no more, or look after it financially. And the friendliness of the people was another thing. And of course I have things that truthfully told me by my husband and his family. Jeff Johnson's family, he was a pioneer here, my husband's father. And well, practically we're sitting on some of the old homestead now, but long since not in the family. And now Mr. Henry S. Johnson, her husband, he was one time our governor here, and he mingled in my husband's family. They were no relation. They were all Johnsons, but they were no relation, but friends until they died. And so he was around in an episode or two. My father-in-law, he dug wells. When he come here, he dug the first well that was dug in Perry over here in Lyons West Park. It's covered over now, and it should be restored, and I hope it is at some time. And there's a man come then told my father-in-law he had to just sign over half of that proceeds of that well to him, and they'd charge and they both get 10 cents a pail of water, when people come there to get it. And Mr. Henry S., my father-in-law, he was old and beginning to pale, and Mr. Henry S., he told him, he says, Jeff, you don't have to do nothing of the kind. He says, you don't have to give him nothing. And they had a close, almost a fight over it. And so Grandpa says, I know. He says, I'd see him in the hot place before. He says, I'd do that. And so And they got along, and so they talked rough those days. They had to be rough, I guess. And Mother Johnson, she could handle a rifle too, and firearms, it seemed at that time. And she would have shot this man only for Mr. Henry S., the ex-governor, her husband. And he was in 2 or 3 episodes. That is in the Johnson family, that I know is true. And so they settled that among themselves somehow or other. Mr. Henry S. flipped grandma's gun from where she was trying to shoot the man, that was going to shoot her husband. And so my husband never got overlapping as long as he lived about his mother going to shoot somebody. That was fun for him as long as he lived. His mother, he says, shooting somebody.
She felt justified.
Yeah. So they had and I've seen Mr. Henry S. laugh with Frank several times through the years over that, but about grandmother Johnson going to shoot the man, and she'd have hit him too, but Mr. Henry S. he flipped his gun, to one side, and Grandpa Johnson, he had a gun too, and the other shooting, he missed. His aim didn't take either, and so there was 3 shots fired and no harm done. And there wasn't no water dividing either. And the Grandpa didn't charge for his water. Said the water was under the ground for every man to dig and help himself, and just for him to go ahead and dig, and he'd come there and give him water what he could carry away, in his own vessels until he got water. And welcome to it, and bring his stock there, and the horses. He couldn't feed all the cattle, water out of one well, but he told them to bring their horses and give them water and get the water for their families. And so they did. They settled it that way. And they had and at that sometime close to that time, it wasn't a week, till Mr. Henry S., he come along again, and he'd always get off and talk and visit. Everybody was friendly and seemed to know each other. And so he got off, and Grandma, something had got the matter with the flue in their makeshift little house they'd built, and she couldn't use her stove inside anymore, so she built a campfire outside. And she was broiling chicken, and I got the old broiler yet at the house. And so she had a chicken on there, broiling it, and supper time comes, she told them to come and get it. Of course, she had breadstuffs and things that they could help themselves, monkey style. And so they helped themselves, and Frank said he got hold of a wing, that was my husband, and pulled it off, and he pulled a part of the breast off with the wing, and Mr. Henry said he got a leg, and he pulled another part, and Grandpa, he got the other side of it and said there wasn't nothing left for Grandma. And so they all had chicken, and the Grandma, she wasn't to be dismayed. She goes to the chicken pen and wrings off the neck of another chicken and had it done before they got through eating, picking their bones. And that's some of the things that I remember him telling me that early day. That was before I got here. And that was in the very early part. And so I heard them rehearsed and rehashed so many times. And so it would be hard for me to forget it, even if I am getting old. And
Mrs. Johnson, we're getting fairly well to our tape here. Didn't your family establish a city park of some kind?
Well, the city park is established right on Grandpa Johnson's, my father-in-law's, old homestead.
Mm-hmm.
And that old well is right there, too, where what he dug it for his own and what the shooting was all about.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to make him divide the water, the revenue from the water. but they didn't, and so Grandpa helped, Grandpa
Well, there were
helped.
other wells in town, were there not?
Not at that time.
Not at that time. This
Not
is
at
the
that
first
time.
well.
That was the first well, right over there. It's anybody can go there and see it.
yeah.
It's not marked or anything, but it's covered over. It could be restored,
You could,
and it should be.
You could call it almost a community well then, couldn't
Yes,
you?
it was at that time,
Uh-huh.
and because
I
Grandpa said
recall
that.
how deep you had to go for water. He had to go. Your father-in-law.
What?
Do you recall how deep the well was? How deep he had to go for water?
About 20 foot to the top of the
Mm-hmm.
to the water, and by hand that's all the pumping they had those days, you know, and they said they'd pump all day and they couldn't pump it dry.
Mm-hmm. You have a windlass on it or a pump?
Oh, an old-fashioned pump that you
Yeah. You
made your
pushed up and down.
yes, you pushed up and down that you digested your food by, and so that is still there, that old well, but there's no pump in it. They
So
just covered it
the
over.
park, what is the name of this park?
West Lions Park.
West Lions.
West Lions, right?
Yes.
Oh, just 2 blocks
Established
from
with the
here.
Lions Club, I presume.
Yes, they took it over, just a few years back, not too many. Well, 12, 15 maybe,
About.
something like that. It could be 20 years, but I don't think any more than that. But they took over, they could tell you that. Nobody marked the time those days. But that was that park, and
Well, we appreciate your time, your reminiscences, and we hope that you get out of this rest home pretty quick and get back home. It'd be a pleasant
no, I'm
return.
selling my home and everything I have.
Oh, you're selling out.
Yes, I
Yes.
hope to.
Well,
I don't know of anything else to do. I'm the last of the family,
yes.
and if I have a relative, I wouldn't know where to put my finger on them. No, I wouldn't. I can tell you where I have a relative.
Not even in Arkansas City.
No, not
We
there.
do appreciate the interview, and